mean, you've seen a lot of change in the time you've been here. As you think about where the city has been and the direction we seem to be going, what's exciting to you, and also what concerns you? Not as an employee, but as someone who has been here pretty much their entire life and has seen things change.
What's exciting? What concerns me? Well, in the late 70s, early 80s, I have a lot of friends. I grew up here. We were in with a lot of family and friends, some of them who still live here, and they often make comments about, we need to keep Yucaipa rural, keep Yucaipa that rural feeling. And to a certain extent, I have the same sentiment, but now being involved in local government and knowing how it works and how the revenue that's generated, where it comes from and what that goes to. I know that we need a certain amount of development to be able to sustain the city of Yucaipa.
Right.
And one of my concerns is that and I have this conversation with people outside of work all the time. Well, you've lived here for a long time. You need to help fight and keep Yucaipa rural, and no development and this and that. And I try to explain to them that in a perfect world, yes. But in reality, if we want to make Yucaipa sustainable, we have to have responsible growth.
Right.
And I've been fortunate enough to be part of a lot of that growth throughout over the years, and so the concern that I have is and I want to help people understand that you can still maintain that rural feel, but still have the responsible growth that we need to build that tax revenue to be able to provide the services that people are used to.
I agree. And I think that really is our task here, right? I mean, look, I moved here in 2015 after looking around at all the other cities in the region and decided on Yucaipa for a number of reasons. But the more rural nature was one of the big reasons, that and the people that live here, and just being such a patriotic community and a community that embraces public safety and just all the things that make Yucaipa a unique community. But our more rural feel was definitely something that attracted me, and I want to hold on to that as well. But I think when people tell me we need to remain a small town, I mean that ship has sailed, right? I mean we're a mid-sized city of 55,000 people now. Now we can hold on to a small town feel, right?
Right.
And when I go up, drive or walk through Uptown, I mean it feels like small town USA, right? And I don't think we're ever going to lose the ruralness of the feel of the town. I mean, we'll always have the mountains, right? We'll always have these spectacular views in the winter, covered with snow. It's gorgeous. But given that we've grown to 55,000 people who all need services, our revenue sources have not kept up.
Right.
We've built a lot of rooftops. The commercial has lagged behind. Now we have some restaurants and some shops, and the Yucaipa Point project on Yucaipa Boulevard down by the freeway is definitely helping. But if you think about it, we don't have the big regional shopping centers, the big box stores, the auto malls that most cities rely on to bring in a lot of sales tax revenue, right? And so as we've grown and our cost of providing services to those areas have grown, road maintenance, police, fire, et cetera. And as the cost of public safety has grown exponentially over recent years, we just our revenues haven't kept up, and that's why we're facing such a big deficit that we have to work our way out of now. But I think this community is going to have to face a reality that you can't have it all ways, right? You can't say I don't want any development, and at the same time don't tax me, but I want all the services. Right? Something's got to give, right?
Yeah.
And I think long-term economic development has to be the solution, right? But as you mentioned, done in a way that we're not losing the unique look and feel that is the city of Yucaipa.
Right.
But as a community, we have to really give a lot of thought to what we want our community to look like, and not just in terms of physically land use, but in terms of service levels. right? And we have grown accustomed to a very high level of service here in Yucaipa in terms of our police service, our fire service, community services, the parks and the programming for youth and seniors here. The festivals that this city puts on are unlike anything I've seen in any other city, both in terms of the quality and the number that are put on every year. But all of those things help to build a sense of community, right? But they're all very expensive. And, as we've grown and everything's gotten more expensive, we're very quickly coming to a point where we have to make a decision as a community. We're going to have to pay the freight if we want the services to remain at the levels they are today. And if not, that's okay too. But then people have to understand that, we're not going to have all of those services, at least at the levels that they are now, right?
Right.
And so that's something we're going to have to really come to grips with. We've got there is a 1% sales tax measure on the ballot this November. And I think our job there as a city is not to advocate one way or the other, but to present the information so people really clearly understand the choice that's in front of them, right?
Right.
Do we want to be able to maintain our roads? Do we want to be able to have quick response times for police and police and fire? Do we want to have parks and senior programming and youth programming at the levels that we do now? And I have an opinion on that as a resident here of Yucaipa. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a community-wide decision.